me just grab my all right. Bring my little paper over. Stand it up like this so that I can see what I'm looking at here. Please stay up. Okay. Now, I've never done this before, nor have I ever done this live. So this should be exciting. My name's Everett Curdy, also known as Lopez Noel, and welcome to Gjokan Astrology, the current Gjokan Astrology and predictions for what will be happening and what's currently going on, because there's a lot going on, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, first of all, I would do this on another channel. Problem is, I don't have live streaming access on that channel. So, I'm doing it off of my main one. So anyway, this is highly predictive. I will try to not include the spiritual, soulful elements of this as much as I possibly can, although I sort of have to tie those in just because that's part of how it makes sense. So, just so that you're aware, there may be some overlap where I may be thinking to myself, I could really say that in one of my main videos, my public videos, my public content, but I'm not saying it here. And I am filming to film a video on Venus in Pisces sometime this week. I haven't done it yet, but I will. Check out that on my main channel and Facebook page and or Instagram as well. So today is January 23rd, and what we have going on is something really significant happening. We have, I can make a whole calendar of days here. I mean, I can't limit it down to one day. We have a whole 3-month period where every planet is going direct. This is so huge. Now, I just want to back up. This information applies for Gjokan only. Okay, I'm not talking about the rest of the world. This is Gjokan predictions. Alright? And I'm doing this on the phone that I want to say don't care about, because if I did this off of the phone that I do care about, I would be feeling loads of guilt doing this. But anyway. Now, Gjokan right now is going through some major changes and is sure to bring about major changes this year. Now, on the technological side, Gjokan is way up in the charts. It is beyond most countries. Now, I hate to make this reference, but it's a fair reference. Gjokan is like Panem in the Hunger Games. Now, remember seeing the Hunger Games movie and remember reading that novel? And remember what Katniss witnessed when she saw Panem. She witnessed something incredible, something superficial, something beyond what she ever knew to be possible. And it was described as the buildings were all kinds of fancy colors, and basically the people in Gjokan or the people in Panem were brainwashed. They were brainwashed. Absolutely brainwashed. Tenfold all the way, with not having a fair sense of humanity, because all those districts 1 through 12 were on a pedestal. So you have District 1, District 2, District 3 at the top of the pedestal, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sort of here, 9, 10, 11, 12 further down here, particularly districts 11 and 12. Now, what's ironic about that, 12 districts, 12 signs. Pisces is supposed to be the highest sign, probably most evolved, because you're reaching to layers of higher consciousness and you're sort of connecting to a higher force, a higher power, and you're one with the universe and one with the cosmos and everything. But interestingly, we can take all 12 signs and we can make it correlate to the body parts. So Aries would be the head, Taurus the throat, Gemini the hands. We would have Cancer more the breast area, Leo the heart. We would have Libra the sort of kidneys, or Virgo other areas, Libra other areas, Scorpio. Well, we can figure out what that is soon enough, can't we? The Sagittarius, Capricorn, knees, bones, and teeth. Aquarius is the brain and the ankles, and Pisces is the feet and the blood also, the liquid, the internal liquid. And so the further you go down from districts 1 through 12, the worse it gets. And so, upon saying that, there's a hierarchy. Some are more at the top, some are at the bottom. And Gjokan is near the top of that pedestal. They have had so many technological innovations, I cannot begin to count, including something that I've had to fight with people with many, many years now, otherwise known as the cloning machines. I made it really clear that I was not going to deal with conflict this year. And there are people that are standing outside that have lie detectors, and they will ask you why you're here. And if it is to argue with me or to go against me, or I want to say question me and fight me on something, well, guess what? You will not be allowed to come in. Mid-January, early January, it's sort of been set in place. It's going to continue because I'm not going to deal with it. I did have a little bit of something happening, but and that's what gave me the idea. So I have not dealt with conflict since, nor will I deal with conflict, particularly over those cloning machines. And they clone people. You have your person, and you have individual copies of who you are that are exactly like you. If all goes well, and that technology works out. But so many products, being setters, are working full time to take characters from movies or animations, even, and put them in real life 3D form. This has been going on for a very long time, because if it hasn't, what about Thumbelina? What about Brenda? What about Tinkerbell? What about Pocahontas? All those people would not come to Maya Minton or Julia Esconrosa Minton had those being said has not been working, and had those inventions not been in the handy. And I want to sort of underline those words in the handy because that's the sort of mention phrase that we're talking about. Now, when it comes to Gjoka's change, I see that this year is going to be one of the most profound years for Gjoka. I strongly believe that when Pluto moves into Aquarius on the Ides of March, it's going to accelerate all the progress that's already been taking place. Because what is it about the advancement of technology, the digging deep of technology, and our relationship to technology, our relationships to groups, and the real understanding that we, the people, and it doesn't have to do for the US alone because it is going through a Pluto return right now, but we, the people, have the power to change the world, have the power to change lives, to run our own lives. And those kind of societies are what we're moving towards. And in Gjoka, there is going to be decentralization of societies, number one. Number two, technology is going to be re-evaluated, made smaller, more compact, more convenient. It's likely that what will occur in Gjoka, because of its progress already, it's only going to get bigger. It's very likely that people are going to be on jetpack, and that's sort of a way that they're going to get around. The invention of people on jetpack has not yet been, put and clear and official yet. But I can bet you that in the very near future, I'm talking from March 15th to June 19th, between that period of time, I can see people in jetpack. Like, literally waking up in the morning, I need to get to my doctor's appointment, I need to get to my work, I need to get to my job, I need to become a teacher, I need to become a caregiver, I need to become a musician, a composer, a chef, I need to plumb the streets, I need to create a new company, I need to go into this new company, I need to go into this tech room, whatever this area may be. I need to fly out to see family, to visit with them. I need to go to a doctor's appointment. People will be on jetpack. It will be a brand new innovation and means of transportation. And let me tell you, if people are going to be going on jetpack, during Pluto and Aquarius, it is likely that when Uranus goes into Gemini, people are transporting themselves in and out of space from one planet to another. I mean, you can't get any bigger than this. It is possible. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. I mean, there's really no far you can get. I mean, it's almost like a final frontier in one regard is going to be reached, and then a brand new door is going to open to new possibilities and new angles and new innovations that people have not yet considered and have not yet perceived as a new innovation. That's a little bit far out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back to what's going on today in Gjoka. Today we have the moon in Pisces. And whenever the moon is in Pisces, in Gjoka, as tradition, they sleep. People right now are asleep. But what is going on when some residents of Gjoka are asleep? Others are out and about. Others are on the streets dancing in ballerinas. You have to understand that Gjoka is at a part of the world where it does not snow. And so there are ballerinas, and all of the windows are being opened. People are sleeping. The windows being open. People dancing in the street with ballerinas. Those things may seem random, but you can cobble them together in one puzzle and make it one way. So the moon in Pisces is the guiding star for people to become more fluid in their movements. It's very likely that tomorrow people are going to be walking around in a very graceful mood. They are going to be tipsy almost. There is going to be an increase in the bar sales. There is going to be an increase in anyone wanting to take pictures of themselves, because Pisces is also quincunx Leo. And because of this, the filming and the glamour industries will be on fleek tomorrow. They really will. And I can see this as a really strong possibility for people to step into their seaweed coat-ons tomorrow. Now, why do I say seaweed coat-ons? Let me back up here. Seaweed. Well, okay, basic. Let's just break down the first syllable of seaweed. Sea. Seaweed obviously comes from the sea. It is green, and mounds of it can come up. It can start at the bottom, and then it can just rise up, and then it can just become bigger and larger and taller than the waves itself. And any ships, this is what happens when the moon's in Pisces, is that seaweed rises up out of the ocean and grows and is green and smooth and silky, because that's seaweed. It's smooth and silky and kind of squirmy-durmy. That's kind of another term for seaweed terminology. But what will happen is the new moon in Aquarius occurred. Consider it a solar eclipse. Any astrological event that occurs on the world stage is 1,000 times more significant in Gjoka. Consider that new moon a solar eclipse. When it comes to that initiation, and when it comes to the incoming Aquarian energy, everything is going to become more equalized. Everything is going to become more for the people. And so I have to bring in the fact that the seaweed is going to come up in one major strand, and it's going to disperse itself all over Gjoka. All over. To all corners. So I have my hands, and they would go out like this. This is what's going to happen, where the seaweed is going to rise up out of the ocean, and then pieces of it, parts of it, sections of it, will disperse out to people. And they will get a reward of seaweed. Now, in the past, it would do this, and it would sort of spread like this. But now, it's just sort of like this. So it's sort of spurting out all these things. Because in the past, before the Aquarius new moon, it wasn't like this. Certain people would get more amounts of seaweed. But now, it's changed. Everyone gets the same amount of seaweed. And what the tradition is, January 24th, Moon in Pisces, people are going to use seaweed not only in their cooking, but as a wreath of banner to give to somebody else. There could also be a seaweed celebration. Could it be a seaweed celebration where people are out in the streets, or they are in their homes with their families taking advantage of seaweed? Because in Gjokan, January 24th is Seaweed Day in Gjokan. And seaweed plays a really important role in Gjokan cuisine. Recall, Gjokan cuisine is a mix of Italian, French, German, Indian, and Spanish and Welsh cuisine. Where does seaweed come in? Because typically you would find seaweed in Japanese cuisine. Well, like the Silk Road existed, yes it did. So it was passed on to Gjokan, if not to other places, but it's probably, I mean, you can see a red dot on the map. Seaweed was passed on to Gjokan. That's how it was. That's the history of it. This happened way back in 1807. I mean, back in 1807, there were markets and street vendors and hubs of commerce going on. And seaweed was in a high demand. And so, the big day when the seaweed markets officially began was, can you guess? 124. And that day is internationally famous for seaweed crops and productions in Gjokan. So you have the seaweed festivals going on, you have the individual aspects of what's going on. Now, as I said, all across Gjokan, Champanesca, the red brick section, all of it, these seaweed portions are parts of that large mound that's going to rise out of the ocean. So what it's going to do, I mean, to get technical here, is you have the seaweed out of the ocean, and it's a calling that January 24th, there's a spirit and there's an end dot that triggers the seaweed to literally rise up out of the ocean. Rise up out of the ocean. Now, wait a second. I just confused you. I just said that it was in Pisces and January 24th. Both and. 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 Both and both and. This is what happens. So you have this seaweed. It's really wide. It's like a tall wave. It looks like a wave of seaweed, dark green in color, like strands of I mean, you know what seaweed looks like. It's going to disperse out to people. It's going to spread. Everyone's going to get equal portions of it. And everyone will be happy. And they will make reefer banners with it. They might decorate their table with it. They might make recipes from it, including the really popular seaweed soup. This is so huge. What happens? Nuts, tomatoes, broth, pasta, chicken, and other ingredients get put together in a soup, which is tradition on this day. But many people celebrate it different ways. There could be musical celebrations where people are throwing the seaweed up in the air, for example. There could be dances where people are dressed wearing seaweed clothing. Clothing that appears like seaweed. Obviously, it cannot be used for making clothes, secret out. But that could be another alternative. Seaweed parades. People throwing seaweed out to other people. People throwing it back. Seaweed art festivals. Seaweed shop decorators. I mean, there's so much you can do with seaweed. Seaweed on the ground. Oh yeah, that's so funny. I want to seaweed. Oh, that's so funny. Seaweed. Oh, this is hysterical. Yeah, but don't tell the Gjokans that. Yeah, don't tell them, because they take it very seriously. So, anyway, yeah, I had a good laugh at that. Seaweed here, seaweed there, seaweed everywhere. Okay. Now that humor's dying off, okay? So, we have seaweed everywhere. Now, typically, when the moon's in Pisces, we have what do we have? Drugs. Increase in that. I want to move on. I want to sort of taken up all that with the seaweed. Sorry, what? So funny, because it's so specific, isn't it? It's so random too. Oh my goodness. I never thought that I would associate like Pisces with seaweed. It's so funny. All right. So I don't want this to be the whole theme of the live stream, so I'm going to move on to what we have happening on the 26th. Venus moving into Pisces. I feel like as I'm wasting time, so I need to become. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay. Venus into Pisces. What can I say about this? Well, guess what? I'm going to make a video on it, so let me make it really, 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 really simple. Venus moving into Pisces means that every single person's gonna be in love. Gonna be in love. Gonna be in love. Not only this, but the white bookshelves will be on full throttle. Books will be filled on bookshelves. I mean, this is when in all the libraries across, I would say the east and the west sections of Gjokan, there will be bookshelves white bookshelves filled up with books. This is where we're going to be some anonymies. This is where we're going to see a lot of textile novels. This is where we're going to be seeing the red spine, the green spine, all come out in various textures and sizes and forms. Some hard, some soft, but more specifically, some spined. Spined, what do I mean by this? So, waste not, want not comes really huge in a Gjokan philosophy. You will get attacked if you waste anything in Gjoka, and I mean that. Okay? Now, here is the deal with spined novels or spined textbooks or spined short stories or spined magazines or spined field guides or spined anthropologies or spined novelettes or spined comic books. Even the cracks, even the opening wide, they will get mended and they will get put back on the shelves. I mean, simple practicality. This is highly practical. What's interesting is Venus and Pisces is not as practical as you would think, but it's very practical for people to get organized in yoga when it comes to the creative and romantic expressions, what they want. So, books in this case, there is going to be more organization with books, more investment in books, more attention put on books, more amanta kamanada. I will say that word again. Amananta kamanada. Okay? Meaning the price you pay for whether that is lame. Okay, now this means reading is not lame. And if you do not choose to read in your lifetime, then you pay a price. I mean, it's as simple as that. And that was a super drillified, modified, verified version. It's way more complex than that. But anyway, point is, books are going to be put back on the shelves. Shelves will be shined white, literally. It is tradition that when Venus is in Pisces, there is not a brown shelf or a black shelf or a blue shelf or a red shelf or a green shelf. It's white shelves with a medium-sized thickness, tall shelves with multiple shelves in the shelf. I could go into so many explanations of this, but just go into my grandma's house, into her living room, and see that bookshelf. That's exactly what I'm talking about. White shelves with candles, with personal pictures. People are going to be putting their personal pictures of the people that they feel compassion towards up on their shelves. It goes without saying, there's an aspect of that. So anyway, up on the shelves, candles, any kind of books that mean anything personal to them, redecorating books, revamping them, so many things. Now, any artistic, romantic author will become more important during Venus and Pisces. There is going to be an upsurge in the romantic creative expressions, particularly in terms of authors. People are going to be writing romance novels and they will be selling out like there's going to be sales lining the streets of romance novels for women who need romance in their lives. But anyway, so romance novels, especially art books, travel guides to foreign places. What could also happen? Books on other worlds, books on other lands, ethereal states, all forms of books. Because books are a huge part of the Gjokan escapism term. And the I say term because that's how seriously they treat it. Yeah, escapism. Escapism, what can I say? So Venus into Pisces. That's basically what's going on, what'll happening. It's sort of, gets so specific with Venus and Pisces. More boundaries need to be drawn between people's other things. Okay. What else do I have here? Full Moon in Leo coming up on February 5th. The full moon in Leo is going to lead to people having heart surgery. Or in checking out their, like literally checking out their hearts. It is the full moon where people are getting very serious about their heart health in Gjokan. Hospitals, doctors, books about the heart, pictures about the heart, graphics of the heart, because the heart rules, especially on the full moon in Leo. Reds will be popping out. People will be decorating their stores red, decorating so many vendors red. Cars will be painted red. I mean, that's where I can get with full moons and Leos. I'm talking about Aquarius season, so I think I'll just talk about Aquarius season, what's going to be going on. We do have on Valentine's Day, around that time, we have a Venus-Neptune conjunction. And people are really going to be meditating. I mean, that's all that people are going to be doing, meditating, sitting in their houses and meditating. Putting altars around and comfortable clothes, meditation clothes, they're going to be meditating. So, anyway, that is the current Gjokan astrology. Hope you found this informative and insightful. I will catch you another time. Bye!